Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuh, everybody. I'm Preacher Mars, host of the SOS, the Shout Out Show. Man, I hope you're having a good Thursday, because a good Thursday usually is a precursor to having a good weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Listen, thanks for all the pleasant comments and some of the insightful comments from our last two shows that we've had. I really appreciate where people are coming from, talking about this whole idea about democracy. We talked about Tulsa. We had a busy week, brothers and sisters, talking about a lot of substantive issues and ideas and concepts. For those who wanted to know, yes, that book is called Introducing Burt Williams. Make sure you check it out. I'm giving it another read. So, brothers and sisters, as you were traveling around, we want to give a shout out to everybody. We're going to give a shout out to our sister Satana, who's on the way to get her vaccination. She said it's number 8 or 9. I don't know which number vaccine. She's getting all of them. 2 from Pfizer, 2 from Moderna, 2 from Johnson & Johnson, and a partridge in the pear tree. Bam. All right. So we got that going on. And again, I want to make a special shout out. Remember, on Saturday, a Saturday Spotlight, brothers and sisters, is the owner and the proprietor of the LLC, BeFinanciallyIndependent.com. Again, that's BeFinanciallyIndependent.com. Right here on the show on Saturday, we're hopefully going to get it for the whole hour. We're going to have Miss Maxine B. Cade, Esquire, who's going to come on here. She's going to be talking about your financial independence number, what you need to be doing to get your revenue together, preparing for after work, retirement, all those type of things. And I hope that we're going to have a really long-ranging conversation about literally how do we get ourselves in a position where our money works for us, where we find a suitable arrangement for our money. We put our money there and it works for us, whether it be real estate, whether it be insurance, whatever it is, brothers and sisters. We've got to start thinking about that. You have to do it now where you're living, because it ain't going to do you any good or your family any good when you're gone from here, okay? So let me get into the topic matter, brothers and sisters, the subject matter of today's show, which is, you see it, entrepreneurship, getting it from the dirt. Our Throwback Thursday is about entrepreneurship, something we are not talking enough about these days, brothers and sisters. You've heard me give you some statistics about Black-owned businesses that weren't coming back, Latino-owned businesses that weren't coming back. You had PPP, all these SBA, all that type of stuff, brothers and sisters. Beside that, we still have companies that are not coming back. So what I wanted to do is have a small discussion, if you will, a small walk down memory lane, if you don't mind, talking about the importance of entrepreneurship in minority communities, and heck, non-minority communities. The importance of the small business owner, brothers and sisters, is something that we have to talk about, because we talk about big population, big corporations, big companies, agricole, all this type of stuff, defense companies, but we don't talk about that engine that allows the community to have, what I want to say, opportunities to invest in themselves. And when we talk about entrepreneurship, I want to give a shout out to my cousin. His name is Todd. My Muslim, he's actually Muslim too. His name is Umar. Umar and I were talking earlier today, and he talked about, he just retired from the Coast Guard. He did 30 years. And he and I were talking about his retirement plan. And he said, I stayed the extra years in the Coast Guard. He said, because it was a strategy. He could have done other things. He said, but it was a strategy. He realized he'd get out, still be 49, blah, 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 blah. When I started asking about what he's going to do next, my heart just expanded. You know what? Because the first thing he said was the business I want to start. So I want to talk about that esprit de corps, that I want to say that inspiration that we all have to start our own businesses. Of course, I'm going to throw a little salt on the game for the people that hire us and don't pay us the right amount of money, or the people that don't take our insurance, or people that try to cheat us on our taxes, or people try to make us come into work when the environment could kill us. I'm going to talk about those people too. But I'm going to talk about that solitary idea that a person wakes up, looks around and goes, yo, I don't know what's going on in the world. I don't know what's going on at work, but I woke up today and I said, I want to invest in myself. I want to bet on me, my skills, my talents, my drive, my discipline, my go-get-itness. I think that I can run a company. So we're going to have fun about that. So brothers and sisters, we're going to be back. I'm Preacher Mars. Start the show. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. We can't start the show because So before we get started, let me give an apology to Sister Tana. Sister Tana is in the parking lot of the vaccination space because she don't want to miss her vaccination. I think she slept there. She said she just pulled. I think she slept there in front of the door to make sure that they bought the vaccinations out. And she was like, "Can I help you with that box?" Sister Tana, they're gonna have your vaccination there. A lot of people gonna get vaccinated. You're gonna get your vac. They're gonna stab you like everybody else. Inshallah, I done put the Muslim thing on it. Stab me, inshallah. So again, shout out to Sister Tana. And my bad. I had her start the show. She can't even hear me, brothers and sisters. That's how the show was going. She had me thinking my vaccine started acting up. I was like, start the show. But it's okay. We got it. So here we go, brothers and sisters. If you're on the shout out show for the first time, God bless you. I normally give a long soliloquy about coming on the show, but after 400 shows, I'm not going to do it. Listen, we're here every day, 5 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Eastern Time, 3 o'clock on the West Coast. We're here every day. Okay, if you don't have anything to do around this time, guess what? $5 get you 10 that we will be here broadcasting on a show. And we're going to have a show as long as Allah blesses me to have some air, wind, opportunity, and of course, internet. So listen, if you want to, you can check out some of the previous shows, which I think have been fabulous. And I say fabulous, I don't mean because I'm the host. The engagement with the people who come on the show has been tremendous, so I don't want to overlook that. Also, if you want to get involved in the action, the verbal fisticuffs that we have sometimes, I'm going to tell you, get in the comment section and you can get what's affectionately known as your shout out. Now, here it is. If you come for the first time, that's cool, but here's the deal. I can't give you the full treatment of the shout out show royalty. Those people come every day. And in fact, one of our dedicated soldiers, Sister Ree and Sister Derek, they're not going to be on the show today because they're traveling. So we just want to make sure we give them some love as well. Ree might pop in, but I'm telling you, they're not going to be here in the show most likely because they're going to be in the air. All right. Aside from that, and if you don't mind, we have 162 subscribers. We're trying to get 163. So tell your friends, tell your enemies. All right. So let me get. We have our stars in the building today. Now we have some people who are, of course, they're not in the stream. They're not in the comment section. I'm going to give you guys some loves too. Some love too. But I also want to make sure that we shout out some of our stars. First up, he is the ambassador, our Canadian ambassador to the Shout Out Show, brothers and sisters. My name's Altaf Rashid, always with a warm welcome. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Altaf, appreciate you coming into the game. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support. Big ups to the Great White North. It's not so white anymore. It's got a lot of brown people up there, but you know what I'm saying. Canada is a very nice place if you just get tired of the U.S. Just go to Canada, brothers and sisters. That should be their slogan. Canada for people who are tired of the U.S. Damn, I'm good. Okay, so we're going to keep this thing rolling. I want to give a shout out to my main man, Adam Khan, brothers and sisters, also from the Great White North. That's not so white anymore. Adam, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I think the show, you might like this. Oh, you and I'll talk both might like this because I'm putting this up because it's a lead-in, if you will. It's a lead-in. I wanted to talk about this subject as a lead-in to what we're going to be doing this weekend. Again, our Saturday spotlight is going to be, we're going to take the whole hour most likely, and we're going to be sitting down and talking about our finances. You guys have heard me talking about BeFinanciallyIndependent.com. Be financially independent. I've been saying this. I had been saying it over the last 200-300 shows. Be financially independent. I say the website. I tell you the number. Well, we're going to do something better. We're going to get the owner, the proprietor of the business on the show. That again, it's Miss Maxine BK. We call her Aunt Maxine on the show talking about finance in a way that you can understand. We're gonna remove some of the algorithms and stuff like that, and we're gonna have a down home talk about what we need to be doing our finance. Everybody ain't gonna be rich, but here's the deal: you don't have to be rich. You need to make good strategic decisions with your money. You know, because sometimes the difference between having money for a long time and having money for a little time is like a 3-month period of making good conscientious decisions. Okay. So let's get to the topic. We got that, Sultana? I got to check my partner. We got that, Sultana? Yeah, I'm right here. Okay. Our topic today, brothers and sisters, our throwback Thursday topic is entrepreneurship, getting it from the dirt. I didn't even want to say getting because that's very whitish. I wanted to put a hyphen in and say getting it from the dirt. because I wanted to be in the actual vernacular of people who used to say getting it from the dirt. They weren't speaking the proper English. They weren't worried about, enunciation. They were worried about survival and how they fed their families, brothers and sisters. So let me start out. Our Throwback Thursday goes back to some of the original entrepreneurs in our community, and they were freed slaves. They're not here to take their bows. They're not here to receive their flowers, if you will. I can't give them kudos, but I say thank you. May Allah continue to bless you and your heart, wherever you are, and your families, because this is the thing that allows me, even at this platform, to do what I do, brothers and sisters. Now, I say getting it from the dirt, and the reason I say getting it from the dirt, because the dirt manifests something. The dirt manifests life. The dirt manifests a certain truth about what you put into it. Seeds, water, because it manifests what you get out of it. You see, the idea of getting it from the dirt is so important because our first entrepreneurs, brothers and sisters, out of slavery, out of bondage, were farmers. They were farmers. They were sharecroppers. And they were cheated. However, the beauty and the blessing of these people is this was just a pit stop. Learning and evolving with each generation, they understood that society was incomplete, particularly without free labor. And they fashioned themselves in a way that I'd say is somewhere short of a double miracle. Number one, they fashioned themselves absent formal education, and they fashioned themselves absent access to capital. And then they still began to develop industry within the community. Things like hair products, things like, okay, I wore these clothes, they're not good, but I could sew them up. Things like brushing teeth, things like hygiene, things like shoes. You see the idea of I got a beat up pair of shoes. There was a guy down the street, guess what he knew how to do when he was a slave? Fix shoes. Or seamstress. Now, these things may sound all kind of archaic because we're in the technology age. We're all about live stream and IT and da da da. But before that, brothers and sisters, there was this miracle of the freed slave who also understood industry. Now, when I say understand industry, brothers and sisters, I'm saying from a very, very compromised position, meaning that the things you could do, you would compromise. You couldn't do them. And even if you did them well, it just meant that somebody was going to co-opt your skills. Every entrepreneur, every wannabe entrepreneur, sometimes walks into the middle of a situation. They look around and they go, I could do better. Or they look around and go, I can pay myself to do better. And so the celebration of these entrepreneurs, of the entrepreneurship or entrepreneurs getting it from the dirt is the fact that they had the capacity, the courage, and the go-get-itness to go make it happen. We are a society now that we're handicapped. We are literally crippled because we have to have so many things in place to make it happen. These people didn't have a small business association, administration. They didn't have SBA. They didn't have economic injury loans or anything like that, like we had during the pandemic. They didn't have these things. They didn't have PPE. They had do for me. And in that space, brothers and sisters, there's a lot of love and there's a lot of sweat and tears, man, but there's a lot of wisdom. And I say the courage that is employed by these people is something that we really need to look at, brothers and sisters, because it's not that we've gotten soft in business. Business has made us soft. We don't sit around going, how do we develop the new wheel? How do we develop a better can opener? That idea. I used to get excited. There's a book about inventions, about Black inventors. And I will watch this thing about Black inventors, and I would read the book about the person who came up with the golf tee, or the person who came up with everything from the golf tee to the stoplight to the super soaker. And I would just sit here imagining as a creative, like, what were they thinking when that idea popped in their mind? Not that I want to do that idea. I can't do that idea. It's the rule of the creator. If I do your idea, it's only I want to do it better. But I can't really do that because who wants to capitalize? I'm looking to see if you improve upon your own idea. And you begin to understand the merits, if you will, of why this thing is so important. Why it's so important from getting it from the dirt. Now we have some more people in. I'm gonna give a shout out to my brother JT. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. Little brother, good to have you on the show. JT is he's an accountant and things like that, but we talk about business. We talk about business. I mean, he was on me on when we talk about going to shows back in the day, getting in a car and driving. He understood I was an entrepreneur. I was betting on myself as a comedian. And it would be that I'm going to bet on myself that I won't always be working these lousy one-nighters in Lincoln, Illinois, playing against white boys in basketball who can't play. But it was the idea that, you know what? From that, there'll be a seed. And I'll look up and maybe there'll be an Allah Made Me Funny. Or maybe there'll be an End of Racism in the Comedy Lecture Tour. Or maybe I'll be able to consult for the NFL. And I'm throwing these things out because I'm trying to inspire you like I've been inspired. See, in my family, brothers and sisters, and there you go. What's going on, Jason? This is Jason McKell, my brother McKell Pitham, him and his lovely family. He's talking about Henry Box Brown. He knows exactly who I'm talking about. And these people are inspirational people. I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. I have three uncles, two on my mother's side, one on my dad's side. My dad was an entrepreneur too. And so was my mom, so was my aunt. Aunt Maxine is coming on the show. Full disclosure, she's my aunt. But she's a lawyer. She's been an entrepreneur. She never worked for people. When she left Howard Law School, she worked for EEOC. Then she started up. She hung out on her own shingle. And when you're a child, you don't really get to appreciate that even then in the 70s and the 80s that people trying to get it from the dirt. It just seemed like it was a really natural thing to do. You know what I mean? You start out, my cousin JB down in Danville, Virginia. We started out cutting grass as kids. Now he has a lawn care business. He has a car washing business. He has all these businesses, all the things we used to kind of get paid for as a kid. He turned them into business models. So I'm going to ask, and some of you, if you don't mind, what are some of your concepts that you're thinking of in terms of entrepreneurial business? I had two uncles, Danville, Virginia. Amazing case studies because both of them were basically entrepreneurs. My uncle Earl Bethel was a truck driver. My uncle June was he was like a contractor handy guy. He could pretty much if you need a new room on your house or something like that, he could do it. Now I'm not saying he had a license, but I'm saying he could make it happen. He did my whole mother's basement and shaped it up and all that type of stuff. And I'm saying this because it's a lost art form. They have a thing now. It's pretty cute, brothers and sisters. And check the hustle out. They have a thing now that say, well, they have all these jobs, but there's a shortage. There's a shortage of labor. And they said, we don't have enough people to come in and take these jobs. And now they have to come in. All the incentives, if you stay for a year, you get $1,000 bonus and da-da-da-da. Almost like the vaccine. You take the vaccine, you get some beer. I'm like, man, Joe, ease off. I wonder if he went to the Muslims. If you take this, if you work this job, you can get some halal chicken. I'm like, sign me up. All right. But they're talking about a labor shortage. What they're not talking about, brothers and sisters, is the fact that people during this pandemic had an opportunity to sit at home and watch money come to them, and they didn't necessarily have to go get it. They had money come to them, and it's not free money, too. Let's be careful. It's not free money. These are your taxes that are coming back to you. At some point in time, somebody's going to come up with some rule. Well, everything's all well and good. We need that money back. Don't be surprised. But my point is, people have started going into what? Business for themselves. So people started saying, wait a minute, I have a chance to understand how that business works without me. And without me, I'm looking at the business, it's not so great anymore. And without me, it doesn't run as smooth. And without me, it's not as creative. And without me, it's not as efficient. And people going, wait a minute, I'm right here. And they're ready to start their own business, brothers and sisters. The story of me being a comedian, JT can back it up. I was doing colleges. And I finally got a headlining spot at the Comedy Cafe in Milwaukee. Yeah, my main man JD, we were cool, we were good, and I finally got this headlining spot. But I was doing colleges. What I'm saying is, he wouldn't let me headline all this time. So I was a headliner, but he wouldn't give me the final spot. He kept me in a spot where he was paying me X amount of dollars a week. I was thinking I was getting $500 or $400 for the week, brothers and sisters. But I'm doing, upwards of 8 shows. Do the math. He finally said, "We're gonna put you on the show." He put me on the show, but I'm like, wait a minute. I figured out I'm talking the same thing. If I change my audience, I could be doing. So I wound up at a place called Ripon College, and they paid me roughly 6 times what he was paying me for that spot, and I only had to do 1 hour. You do the math. And I told the people, I said, well, they're paying me this. I can't do this particular show. I can do the rest of the shows. Now, I had seen them allow other comedians, particularly white comedians, bail on shows and come and do the rest of the show. But for me, they said, nope, you can't do it. And they said, hey, if you can't do this date, you can't do this Thursday, you can't do the rest of the week. And following in the spirit of my entrepreneurial uncles and aunties and everybody and getting it from the dirt, I said, cool, see you later. And I didn't go back there for 10 years. In fact, when I went back, I clearly went for me. I just wanted a place to work out jokes. Ironically, these would be the jokes for All That Made Me Funny and the jokes for the movie and stuff like that. But it was funny that the walk away felt so doggone good. To walk away from people and hear them go, I need you. And then in your mind, you're going, I know. It's a powerful thing. So, brothers and sisters, in true homage to our brothers and sisters that we never saw before, but who laid an indelible blueprint for all of us about how you work through oppression. Economic oppression is the thing I want you to understand. That these people with no tools, no supplies, no seeds, really no negotiating point, they were exploited. They were exploited. And I have to say, they were exploited, but they were exploiting because they opened up lines of credit that we use today, that we can barter for and say, you know what, I ain't got it today. I'll get it. I'll get it to you later. And they did the sharecropping type of thing, until people realize, hey man, these people are extremely creative and we need to get some of that money. So, now you have to go to the bank to get a loan, but do you really have to go to the bank? I always say the bank is a hustle. You know why? Because you can never get the money you actually need. If you ask for a lot of money, they'll give it to you because the banks are in the business of debt. But think about this. Could you ever walk in a bank and say, I'm here for a loan? They go, oh, yes, we want to give you a loan, Mr. Moss. How much? And you tell them exactly what you need. I need $11.47. I'll pay you on Monday. They're not going to give it to you because it's the business of that. But entrepreneurship resets that whole thing because it's nothing more than having a powerful idea and a powerful mindset and a powerful spirit and a powerful drive to get it done. Taking something from A to Z, or in the business we say soup to nuts. Soup to nuts, brothers and sisters, is an amazing process. And even if your business doesn't do exactly what you want for it, you're going to be so much wiser. If you notice, and this is pretty funny, pretty much everybody I brought on for the Saturday Spotlight, whether you knew it or not, were entrepreneurs. They were entrepreneurs. Even the imams we brought on were entrepreneurs. They were people who work for themselves. A lot of people don't even know in our religious institution, the imam, particularly our neighborhood, in my community, we don't have full-time imams. You're a full-time imam, but you don't get paid. All our imams work. I think that's a prophetic model. All of them work because even they have to contribute to the community. The imam space is a privilege and a position. It's not an exception to the rest of the community. And I think when you start thinking about this even more so, and let's throw this out. We got a comment from Mama Son. Throw it up there. It's still a problem that we have reluctant to start business and have our support from the dirt. Helps. And I believe, honestly, if people really understood, here we go. Sister Ree is on the plane, sister. There you go. Make some du'as for us. We need the du'as for the travel. Need those prayers for the traveler. And look at here. You behave on that plane. I don't want to see you on a TMZ video. I had to throw that at that. But my mother has an important point, and this is the thing that I can say. I'm a city kid. Okay, I'm a city kid. What I can admit to, brothers and sisters, is that I learned from farmers. My mother's father was an entrepreneur. His family were entrepreneurs. I've seen some of the genealogy out of Pittsburgh, and they built stuff. They built stuff. And even if you look at the DNA of my family, my uncle, God love him, my uncle Reggie, on my dad's side, I love this guy. He was one of the first account executives for Xerox. When I say one of the first account executives for Xerox, one of the people he got on was James Brown from CBS Sports. And my uncle was an amazing salesman. He could sell a hot wrap to Satan. I'm here to tell you, he had all this stuff he could do. He sell, igloo. He sell air conditioning to Eskimo. He could do all this stuff. A fur coat to a polar bear. He could do it all. And one day when I was a kid, I was sitting around and I got so excited because he said he's going to go into insurance. I'm like, what? I didn't really know what insurance was, but I remember he opened the box and he had a folder and it said the Moss Group, the Mosque, MOSS Group, the Moss Group. And he was starting his own insurance company. Unfortunately, he wasn't licensed. He doing Bumpy Johnson Insurance. But it was the idea. And he said, I want to work for the white man. And he never did after that, And I have to say, I've been inspired by the fact of the matter that the people who tend to tell us that we can't start businesses, the people who tend to not give us money, people tend to make sure it's hard to get loans, they're not very good businessmen. Because if you're a very good businessman, you would welcome competition. And getting it from the dirt is interesting because when you get it from the dirt, you really don't have competition. You literally don't have competition because you're your main driver. You are your most competitive resource moving forward. And I think sometimes we overlook that. Like I marvel at farming. It's the hardest thing to do in the world. To run a farm is one of the hardest things to do in the world. Brothers and sisters, I grew up not farming. The closer I got to farming was going, if it was chickens, I was getting it out of the bin at the local Safeway. I was not, but I saw when I went down south to Orangeburg, South Carolina, I saw my Aunt Hannah and my Uncle Duncan, and they still had farms. They had pigs then. And I watched my Uncle Duncan work. The reason I watched it, because I wasn't getting near them damn pigs. I wasn't even Muslim there. But my point is, to get it from the dirt is one of the most honest things in the world. And entrepreneurship has this space, if you will, whereby we can be honest. Now, you think about business and all corporations. What do you think about corporations? Most of them are just not honest. The tax game supports this amount of business, but that's not this amount of business. I mean, it's a conundrum we can get into later. But the people, brothers and sisters, think about that. Think about this. The farmers, the entrepreneurial spirit of the farmers are the people that gave you HBCUs. They were agricultural grants. So it's not even, I'm trying to farm. It shows you this level of inspiration, this level of evolving that a lot of us overlook. Think of it. Up from slavery, you didn't just get fruits and potatoes, and you got universities that still stand today. What is North Carolina A&T? It's an agriculture and technical college. Think about these things. So look, I'm not going to hold you up. Sister Satana got to get her vaccination. She's just laying out in front of the people right now. Poor Sister Satana, she's just laying out in the street with her arm exposed. Like, come get me first. Come, I'm right here. So listen, everybody, you've been great. We're going to hop off today. I want everybody to have a good day heading into Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I told you Saturday is Saturday Spotlight. Sunday, we're going to have a little fun. I got some crazy stuff I'm going to be showing on Friday Funny. You guys are going to love this one because it's just the weirdest thing in the world. You ever see something that's just so weird, you just have to watch it all the way through? This is going to be one of those things. So Unfortunately, we couldn't get a camera on location with Sister Satana beating up people to get her vaccination. But we're hoping somebody will do it with their camera phone. Sister Satana, just calm down. I don't want to see you with your knee on somebody's arm taking that needle. We just went through a lot that was traumatic. We don't want Sister Satana Derek Whitfield. We don't want that. Oh, she said, I'm going to get me. You ain't going to get me till you get that vaccine. All right. I'm out, everybody. This is Preacher Boss Shout Out Show. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Stay blessed. See you tomorrow, inshallah. Bye-bye now.
There you are. I know you're looking at your screen going, that's a good-looking black man. And you're right. I'm Preacher Moss, and you're not. Today, I want to talk about Olive Branch Muslim Family Services, better known as the people who help people. And I need you to help the people who help people so they can continue to, you guess it, help people. Get it? Got it? Good. Olive Branch Muslim Family Services. Action you can see, compassion you can feel. Graphic now.